Hi everyone, it's a 4-Gun Guy. And today I am doing a review of my very first Nightforce scope. Now, I've never owned a Nightforce before. I bought this with my own money, so no one gave it to me. And I just wanted to do a review. This is the brand new NX6. It's 5 to 30 power. And I was just interested in it because a lot of my buddies shoot Nightforce scopes and in competition, and I've looked through a few of them and I've liked them, but I've just never bought one for one reason or another. So here's what I want to do today is let's go over an overview from back to front. Just kind of, I'll show you what comes in the box. Then we're going to go to the range and see how this thing stretches out at distance. And then we'll have some final thoughts. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. Okay, well, let's go over some of the specs here of the scope. So I'm going to start at the top here and just work my way down. Warranty, lifetime, defective only. Glass is made in Japan by Light Optical Works, Low. They make a lot of glass for a lot of scope manufacturers. They're really considered one of the better scope manufacturers or glass manufacturers, but they also assemble some of the scopes as well for others. This scope is manufactured in Orofino, Idaho, so it's put together here in the United States. Magnification 5 by 30. There is a 6 to 36 version of this, but I'm not into the higher magnifications anymore. 30 is as high as I want to go, and I'm going to do a whole nother video on that. Length, almost 15 inches. Weight, really kind of light when you compare this with some of the others scopes. Like a Vortex is over a pound heavier than this thing. A Gen 2, that's a Razor Gen 2, which is in this price range. That's why I would compare it with that. 34 millimeter tube, 56 objective. Field of view is really good on this. 24.2 at 100 on low power and 4 feet at 100 on high power. And that's because of that magnification range that you have there. Eye relief 3.5 inches. I can tell you right now, this thing is the easiest scope to get behind I've seen in a long time. Really good. It does have re-zeroing. It does have an illuminated reticle. You can either choose green or red. Elevation and windage have plenty of elevation. And then the Parallax is 11 yards to infinity. Now, in the box, it does come with a throw lever. It does not come with a sunshade, and it comes with some pretty nice flip-up covers as well. It comes with a battery and then this tool that you're going to use to manage the turret here when you're going to re-zero or if you have to adjust your zero before a match. So let's get to the specifics of the scope now. All right, I'm going to get one great thing out of the way and one not great thing out of the way right off the bat, and then we'll get into the scope. The great thing is this is one of the easiest scopes I've ever looked through to get behind. The eye box is awesome. It is literally just like there is nothing around the eye box. It's like not in the scope is here and in the scope is right here. So there's no black ring that you're kind of focusing on. That's awesome. The not so good thing, these turrets. And some of you Nightforce guys are going to go, turrets, what do you mean? They're some of the best turrets out there. Click-wise, love them. They're not mushy, but they're not super tight. Perfect. But this turret, this is my thumb. These turrets are small. And look, Nightforce, I know you don't care about me, but if you really want to compete, which I know you're in a league of your own kind of, but if you want to compete with what's coming out now, you better enlarge these turrets. I've talked to some guys in my Signal group that have Nightforces, and it's the same thing with them. That's the one thing they say, bigger turrets would be great. because the numbering on these things is pretty darn small. That's why I have my magnifier on here. And I'm getting the IDTS tape to go on these things so I can mark it. But these turrets just need to be bigger. Okay, rant out of the way. Let's start getting to what I really do like about this scope. Number one, I already talked about getting behind it. I love the fact that it has a locking ocular here. So when I'm done with that, I can just tighten this ring down and it locks. When you first get this, if you've never owned a Nightforce, you may try to spin this thing and it's going to be really tight. The tolerances in their manufacturing process are so tight, this looks like it's one whole piece here. It is not. This is the lock, then you adjust, then you lock it back. So that's that. Magnification ring, very smooth. And I love this throw lever. I like these types of throw levers that you just screw in there. It's perfect, but very smooth operation. And I know it's going to stay where I need it to stay. Let's move up to the turrets now. Windage turret is capped. Freely admit I do not like that. And again, it's small. Look, guys, this is my thumb. You see how small that turret is there? That's my freaking thumb. And the numbers on this thing are smaller than the fine print in a life insurance ad. So look, again, Nightforce, you gotta make things bigger for us PRS guys. Not even guys my age who need glasses or a magnifier, but just regular guys. We need to be able to see what we're doing here. And these just are not what I was hoping for. Now, tactile, yes. The locking aspect of the windage is a typical locking style where you loosen up a screw and then you adjust it, lock it back down. Elevation turret, as I said earlier, very tactile. Some of you may, if you get one of these, say, it's kind of mushy. I think it's perfect. Some of these turrets are so crisp that they're almost annoying, but this is really good. I like it. The re-zeroing on this thing, I read up on it. I did it a few times. Really, really nice. You've got this tool here. Let me see if I can find it. You've got this tool right here. This thing is awesome. You can use this. You could use a quarter. You could use anything you want, but this just goes right on top here. You loosen this thing up. And then if you want to re-zero it, or when you first get the scope, I have it to this setting right now. You lift this turret up till it's at the 1 marking. And then now I can go either direction, which I love, right? I hate it when you have to take a turret off and then mess with some internals to go down when you're zeroing a scope. This is perfect. Then when you've got it zeroed, you loosen this more, set it to 0, push it all the way down, tighten this up, and you're good to go. So I really think they did a good job thinking through how we need to re-zero our scopes out in the field and without a tool. So that's perfect. Parallax, they've got the smallest bar up at the highest parallax setting, which makes no sense to me. Then as you rotate this, you go to larger and larger bars, and I don't care if there's no numbers. You know, I've said that in other videos. I don't care about that. But it's like, I just don't get that at all. Illumination, I like their illumination. It's very good. You can either have red or green reticle illumination. It illuminates pretty much the whole reticle. So I like that for low light settings. I'll never use it, but I like the fact that it has it. The objective, again, 56 millimeter, and the glass is crystal clear. We'll get to that when we get out to the range. Now, let's talk about that reticle. I love this reticle. Now, I know in other videos I've said, oh, there's no 1/2 mil marking, but there is a 1/2 mil marking. They did the smart thing, and they put the 4 and the 6 subtensions up, so you know exactly where the 1/2 mil mark is. So I really, really like that. I like the fact that they did start it at 1. In some scopes, this can be kind of busy when they start the numbering on the horizontal axis, on the windage axis at 1. But in this case, they've kept the numbering small enough to where it doesn't really interrupt anything. I like the fact, again, that as we go down on the elevation, right, they have very clear markings there, and it's very easy. If I need to hold one in elevation, but the wind is at 6/10, I know exactly where I am in this reticle. I'm going to do a video on that stuff too, how ridiculous people are getting with reticles. So anyway, love the reticle. The build quality is awesome. This is really well built. You can just tell by how everything looks and feels and operates. All right, guys, we got the NX6 out at the range. I've got it mounted, as I said, on my Seekins SP10 with my Huxworks suppressor on it. And I've got the trigger cam ready to go. We're going to shoot 500 yards. Let's just put 3 or 4 shots out there and see what this looks like. So, go ahead and close the bolt here. I've got this thing in here, which is a kind of a pain in the neck. Let's just look through the scope here for a second. 500 yards. I'm telling you, I can't say it enough. This glass is gorgeous. I brought my centerfire rifle with my Gen 3 out here, and I've been doing some stuff with it. This glass is better than the Gen 3. For my eyes, for my eyes. Okay, I'm at about 18, 20 power, which is what I'd shoot in a match. So let's see. Let's see if we can hit a piano key. There's one. That was a miss. Might be a little wind out there. Let's see if we can hit that again. There you go. I think there's a little bit of right to left out there. Smoke doesn't show up, but those are set back in kind of a hollow there. So let's shoot this little guy here. That was off. There we go. All right, good. All right, that's 500 yards. Rifle is safe. Let's stretch this out. Let's see if we can go out a little farther. I'll try to get a target or 2 further out. We are about a 760 yards. It's a big plate. But let's shoot this thing now, because there's a couple things I want you to see. So first, glass is great. Very miragey today. Very miragey. And I'm going to shoot this large plate. Now I want you to see where I can hold a 1/2 mil here and impact. See, it's very easy to pick that 1/2 mil up. Right? Now, I don't know why I missed there, but who knows and who cares? Let's try it again. Looks like the wind is kind of laid down a little bit. Yep. Now, see which way the wind went there? The wind just shifted on me. It just shifted. So that's amazing. This range is amazing. Let's try again. Well, that probably went off. Let's try straight up again. Nope. Now let's try over here. I feel it on my left. Up, I'm out. All right. So anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. This wasn't about hitting that target. This was about looking at this reticle, which, again, guys, I just love, and seeing that if I have to hold a 1/2 mil, I'm holding a 1/2 mil. If I have to hold a 1/2 mil this way, I'm holding this way. Tree-wise, because we had to use the tree the last match, let's say that I'm here, and let's just play around here. Let's say this is the close target, and I'm going to adjust my color just a pinch. I think it's good, but I'm not sure. Close target, and then I have to hold one at the far target with a 1/2 mil wind. Easy to do. Easy to do. Now, as I said, I'm going to do a whole video on tree versus non-tree because I have my opinion on that. But look, let's get back to the shop for some final thoughts. Okay, this is my first Nightforce scope, as I told you earlier, And I'm telling you, I love this thing. This is probably one I'm going to keep. Let's talk about why. I love the glass in this thing, and I know it comes from the Low factory in Japan, but it's really good glass. I will say that I love the locking ocular on this thing. I used it out at the range quite a bit just to play around with it. It was really nice. Again, the smoothness of everything. I love the locking, or not the locking, but the turret adjustments, the re-zeroing and how to set your initial zero. I really do like that you can just use that tool or anything. Doesn't have to be that tool. The parallax adjustment, very good, and held a good range of distances, right? So if you think about this, when you're at a PRS match and you're shooting, 500 to 800 yards, you don't want to have to mess with your parallax going from those distances. I felt that this scope did a good job with that. And again, I didn't see any chromatic aberration. I didn't see any of that stuff. So very, very good. Illuminated reticle. I don't know if I put it in the range video, but I played with it out there. It was really good. And again, the only thing, there's just the one thing that bugs the heck out of me, and that is the size of these turrets. Don't let that discourage you. This is a fantastic scope, so do not let that discourage you. I just keep looking at it going, you guys are so big in PRS. I mean, when you go to a PRS match, you're going to see, I'm going to say a good 20 to 30% of the scopes are Nightforce scopes. And I just wish you'd make the turrets a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. Just take a cue from what's being successful out there right now, especially on the lesser priced scopes that are starting to bump up against this price range. This thing was $2,200. Happy to pay that for this quality of scope. And yeah, I really like it. Again, this is the Nightforce NX6, 6 to 30, or 5 to 30 rather, I'm sorry. And I think it's a good buy. If you're looking, if you have a scope, so let's talk about where this fits. If you have a scope now, you just got into PRS, so you bought a budget optic and you want to move up, then there are some optics. I'm going to do a video on this in the next few weeks on what scopes you want to consider. This should be one in that list. And I'm going to go through a lot of scopes in the $1,300 to $2,300 price range, right? Because I think that's now the mid-price tier that we're looking at. So I really do think that centerfire or rimfire, this is going to be fantastic for either one. A lot of my buddies shoot Nightforce. They shoot the attackers in rimfire, and they do very well with these. The thing I liked about this was, and again, not having had a Nightforce before, this seems like it was, they put a lot of thought into this as they do the attacker scopes. So I thought I was getting something close, and I think I did. All right, guys, that should be it. I really appreciate you hanging in there on this one. Again, I bought this with my own money. Nightforce gave me nothing, or nobody sent me anything. So I'm very free to say whatever I want about it. All right, well, thanks for hanging in there, guys. All the likes, the subs, the comments, I appreciate it all. And until next time, shoot straight.